Have you ever wondered what the best Walt Disney World Resort Hotel is? Let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Foster, and I'm the owner of Magic Land Vacations, the travel planning genies. We love helping families just like yours save time, save stress, save hassle, and create extra magic on those Disney and Universal destination vacations and more. And today we wanted to really dissect for all of you all watching out there, think about planning your next Walt Disney World vacation. What really is the best Walt Disney World Resort Hotel? Now, I'm gonna be completely transparent and really honest with you and say that what is the best hotel for you is gonna depend on a variety of factors for you and for your family. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why you can't just rely on amazing blog articles or YouTubers or anything like that, is because you actually gotta look and see what is actually gonna be the best for your family's vacation. Because just like not every family likes seafood and not every family likes Tex-Mex, I don't know why they wouldn't like Tex-Mex, but not every family likes Tex-Mex. What is gonna be the best for your family might not be the best for another family. So the purpose of this video is not just to dictate to you exactly what are the best resort hotels, but it's gonna be more about things that you really should think about in your planning process to figure out which resort hotel might actually be the best fit for your family. Now, I'm curious if you have any questions about Disney Resort Hotels after this video. Don't forget to put those in the comments below. We read all the comments and we love answering and helping you guys plan your vacation, so make sure you drop those below. All right, so let's get into the factors. Now, of course, one of the biggest factors that any family needs to take into their Walt Disney World vacation is the actual price of a Walt Disney World Resort Hotel. This video is based on actually Disney-owned properties, so we're not gonna be talking about Good Neighbor hotels. We're specifically gonna be talking about Walt Disney World Resort hotels on Walt Disney World property. Now, the first factor, like I said, is gonna be price, and that's gonna vary depending upon your family's budget. So how much do Walt Disney World Resort hotels cost? Well, there's actually three categories for Walt Disney World Resort hotels, right? You have the value category, you have the moderate category, and then you have the deluxe hotel category. Now, if you're staying at a value resort hotel, the prices on average start around $175 and go all the way up to $263 for the standard rooms. Now that is gonna go increase in price, right? Because like Art of Animation, that starts at like $260, $250, depending upon when you're actually traveling. But if you're staying in a car suite, it's gonna be almost double that, right? So that is the value resort hotel. Now a moderate resort hotel is gonna cost you anywhere from around $260 all the way up to around the $450 range, depending upon your season. That's gonna be Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort. That's gonna be the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness. That's gonna be Coronado Springs, okay? And then the last category that you have is that deluxe resort category. That is the one that you see in all the commercials with the monorail. That's gonna be Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. That's gonna be the Contemporary Resort. That's gonna be Animal Kingdom Lodge. Now those resort categories are gonna start around the $600 range and go way up from there. So depending upon your budget, that might be a huge factor in determining which Disney Resort hotel property you decide to stay for your Walt Disney World vacation. Now, it's important to note that when you're taking the price into consideration, the price of your tickets and memory maker and other components doesn't actually change if you're staying obviously at a value resort or a deluxe resort hotel. So one of the best ways to kind of figure out whether or not you actually want to stay in that specific resort category is average out the price difference per night. That's actually really helpful way to actually kind of think about the budget just a little bit differently. The second factor that your family has to consider when planning your Walt Disney World vacation is going to be the actual transportation available at that property. Now, there's a variety of transportation available throughout the Walt Disney World Resort, and it changes based on what hotel you're actually staying at. So you could have a monorail, you could have the Skyliner, you could have the boats, and of course you have lots of buses, okay? So let's just talk briefly about the transportation, how that can impact your Walt Disney World vacation and your hotel resort category choice. Now, one of the most famous and well sought after transportation options in Walt Disney World for the longest time, because it existed when Walt Disney World first opened in 1971, is the monorail. Now, there's only 3 resorts on the monorail loop. You have the Contemporary Resort, you have Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, and then you also have Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, all on the monorail loop. Now, all of those resort hotels are actually deluxe category hotels. So if we go back to that price that we talked about earlier, you're looking at spending upwards of $600 per night for just your hotel room alone for your Walt Disney World vacation. Now, why is the monorail so popular? Because it connects those resort hotels to the actual Magic Kingdom. And then of course, it also connects to the ticket and transportation center where you can transfer from the Magic Kingdom monorail over to the Epcot monorail. So it provides a really great convenient option to get to both Epcot and to the Magic Kingdom and avoiding those buses. Now, personally, I love the fact that the Contemporary Resort has a really short walk to the Magic Kingdom. That is my personal favorite hotel to stay at, especially if you're doing a hard ticket event like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party or Very Merry Christmas Party, and you're gonna stay up really late. Nothing is better than walking back to your resort hotel. Now, something really new that is really recent is they actually just completed a walkway to Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa as well. So both of those hotels, you actually can walk from those resort hotels to the Magic Kingdom, which you can't do at any other resort property besides those 2. Now, the second really popular transportation option to think about is if you want to stay at a Disney Skyliner Resort hotel. So the Skyliner Resort is the newest transportation option at Walt Disney World, and in my opinion, it's a better transportation option than actually the monorail resort. Now, the biggest reason why I say this is because with the monorail, one of the inhibiting factors that you have is that a lot of people have ECVs, and at each resort hotel that has a monorail, they only have one ramp. So if you have a lot of people with ECVs and they're staying in different compartments on the monorail, it can take a really long time to load and unload that monorail. Why I love the Skyliner is because the Skyliner actually, for ECVs and wheelchairs and other things, strollers and other things like that, they actually have compartments that actually go off of the actual loop of the Skyliner while the rest of the Skyliner is still moving. So it doesn't actually slow down the loading and the unloading process like it does on the monorail. The other thing is that the monorail sometimes breaks down, whereas the Skyliner, because it's newer, doesn't have as many operational issues as sometimes the monorail has. Now, the resort hotels that are going to be on the Skyliner loop are going to be the 2 value resorts, Art of Animation and Disney's Pop Century. Then you're going to have a moderate resort category as well, which is Disney's Caribbean Beach. Okay, and then you're gonna have a deluxe resort hotel category, which is Disney's Riviera Resort. Now, one thing that people always wanna know is where exactly does the Skyliner go? So it goes to all those resort properties, and it also goes to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So if you're looking at Epcot, both the monorail and the Skyliner goes to Epcot, but only the Skyliner goes to Hollywood Studios, and only the monorail goes to the Magic Kingdom. Now, one thing I do want to note that if you're looking at which one is the best of all those resorts to stay at, if you're interested in the Skyliner, the easiest is Disney's Caribbean Beach. Why? Because Disney's Caribbean Beach is the hub for the Skyliner, and that's actually where you transfer lines to either go to Hollywood Studios or to go to the Epcot route. So if you're at Riviera Resort or Art of Animation or at Pop Century, you are gonna have to do a transfer at Caribbean Beach depending upon which park you're actually going to. Now, the third transportation option are boats. Boats. And there's a variety of resort hotels that offer boat transportation through Walt Disney World. A lot of them are the ones that are around Bay Lake, which is near the Magic Kingdom. So that's gonna be Wilderness Lodge, it's gonna be cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness. That's gonna be, again, the Polynesian, it's gonna be the Contemporary. Those offer boat transportation in Bay Lake from those resort hotels to the actual Magic Kingdom. It's a really fun way to go on your park days to take the boats. And then of course you also have boat transportation going from the Epcot resort hotels to Epcot. So that's gonna be the Beach and Yacht Club, that's gonna be the Boardwalk Resort Hotel. And then you also have a few outlier resorts like Port Orleans French Quarter and Port Orleans Riverside that have boat transportation to Disney Springs. So quite a few different resort hotels offer boat transportation, and then buses fill in everything else, okay? So buses fill in everything else. Now, all of these different transportation options have their pluses and their minuses. For example, if there's heavy lightning, the Skyliner usually doesn't operate. They shut it down if there's like really heavy lightning, and then you have to take a bus anyway. If there's heavy lightning with the boats, usually the boats aren't operating either. So there are pluses and minuses of these transportations. My personal favorite is the Skyliner, just because you're not stopped in traffic. It's consistently moving. It seems to be really one of the most reliable pieces of transportation on Disney property. Knocking on wood that I don't jinx it or anything, but I really do love it. So one thing definitely you want to consider is what is going to be the easiest form of transportation for you and your family. The third factor you want to think about in choosing your Walt Disney World Resort Hotel is what is the actual theming? What is the magic? Because just as much time and emphasis that Disney puts into their world-class entertainment and world-class attractions in their theme parks, they spend a lot of time and focus and making their resort hotels just as magical. Now, there's some that have more theming than others, and that is definitely a huge factor in deciding where you want to stay, because that theming is really going to make a difference in not only how your room looks, but also in some of the restaurant and dining options that you have as well. Take, for instance, Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge is actually one of the most affordable of the deluxe resort hotel options. Now, the really cool thing about Animal Kingdom Lodge, it is huge and it is grand, and there's a savannah with animals on it, which no other Disney property has. They have one of the best breakfast buffets ever at Boma. They also have Jico, the cooking place, which in my opinion is better than Victoria and Albert's at Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. But that is just one example of the theming. Now, there's a lot of theming changes happening right now with deluxe resorts. We have the Incredibles retheming of the rooms over at the Contemporary Resort. We have the Moana retheming that just went into Disney's Polynesian Village and Resort. So depending upon what your kids or you are really excited about, knowing the theming of the resort is going to make a really huge difference. We have a lot of families that absolutely love Port Orleans, both Riverside and also Port Orleans French Quarter. French Quarter is very much more of like New Orleans, like classic New Orleans, like jazz band kind of style, like in the 1930s, you know, wrought iron, that kind of a thing. And then Port Orleans French Quarter is more of like Southern plantation style, you know, but the theming is really amazing at the resort properties. Now, the newer resort hotels like Riviera, Grand Destino Tower, their Imagineering is still there, but it is more contemporary, so it's more light, okay? It's Disney Imagineering light, I think, is a great way to look at it. So that's a huge factor that you also need to think about in terms of your Walt Disney World Resort Hotel. The last factor that you need to think about in terms of where you stay on Disney property is gonna be the perks. Now, obviously, there's certain perks that every Disney Resort Hotel has, which is the early park entry, which everyone is, you know, thinks, oh, that's not a big deal, it's only 30 minutes. Trust me, 30 minutes is a big deal if you do rope drop, because you can get out 2 or 3 huge rides that have hour waits, and that's gonna save you 2 or 3 hours later on in the day. So it is a really, really huge perk. However, the big thing you need to understand is that Early entry is not like the only perk or the only differentiation depending upon where you're staying. If you're staying at a value resort hotel like All-Star Movies, All-Star Music, Pop Century Resort, they don't have a lot of dining options. They usually have just one quick service option and usually a pool bar, like some kind of pool service, and that's pretty much it. There's no fitness facility either, so if that is important to you on your vacation, then that kind of rules out value resorts for you altogether. Modern resorts tend to have quick service, and some of them have at least one sit-down restaurant, but again, they don't have a fitness center either. But of course, they also have early entry just like everything else. But deluxe resorts tend to have more amenities than any of the other resorts. That's where some of them have salons as part of them. You also get the evening hours that are a huge bonus. You also get to do extra virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy right now that a lot of people they don't even know about it, like it feels like. And then of course you also have fitness centers, and there's just a lot more dining options. So depending upon which tier you're staying at, I hear it all the time. People are like, well, I'm not really spending that much time in my resort hotel. I'm spending all my time in the parks, but I'm telling you right now, all right, like you should have a rest day in between those 4 park days. Ideally, if you can. It does cost obviously a little bit more money because you're spending a whole nother night in a resort hotel, but your feet will thank you, okay? Your feet will thank you because you're gonna be walking about 30,000 steps. So I kind of went through all the factors. Now I'm gonna tell you which hotels in each category are just my personal favorites. And I'm not even speaking for our entire team of travel planning genies because they all have their personal favorites, but I'm just gonna tell you what my favorites are, and you can comment down below, tell me what you think. I would love to hear about it. But in terms of value resorts, my favorite is Pop Century Resort Hotel. We have a full YouTube review of Pop Century Resort Hotel. I love it for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I love the fact that it's on the Disney Skyliner route. I love the Skyliner route. I think it makes going to Hollywood Studios and Epcot super, super, super easy. I love that it has these huge Disney character statues where you can take photos. I love that the lobby has different toys from different decades, which is a great conversation piece with friends and family, and I love how they redid it. So if you're looking for a value resort property, Pop Century is my personal favorite. I know some people on my team really like Art of Animation because they like the family suites because it's really affordable for big families, which it is, but Pop is my favorite. Now, when it comes to the modern resort category, that is a little bit tougher decision for me. To be honest, I really, really, really love Port Orleans Riverside. I love Port Orleans Quarter because if you are a huge Princess and the Frog fan, they have the special Tiana rooms. I love just how the buildings look like Southern mansions, and I think they have one of the best themed lobby and environments out of any of the resort hotel. They have Boat Ride Signing Hall over there. They have animatronics in their gift store. I just think in totality, it's just a really fun themed resort hotel. They also offer waterway transportation. Transportation there is not the easiest. So that's that kind of goes not in its favor. If you want a Skyliner route, of course, you only have one option, which is Caribbean Beach. I would say my other option that I really love is Grand Destino Tower, which is part of Coronado Springs. The reason why I love that so much, everyone, is because Grand Destino Tower is actually a tribute to Grand Destino, which was a collaboration between Walt Disney and Salvador Dali. And what has some Disney touches, it has a lot of Salvador Dali inspiration in it. And it actually, in my opinion, feels very much more like a deluxe resort hotel property. And it's also the only modern resort hotel that actually serves as a convention center. So it has fitness center, which most moderates don't have, and it has a ton of dining options. So it's a great location for you if you want more options and you're staying at a modern. And they have one of the best resort hotel pools in all of Disney property. That is like the Mayan, the huge pyramid pool that they have. It's really, really, really fantastic. Now, in terms of deluxe resort hotel, I'm just gonna be honest and say, even though the transportation is not the best there, I really love Animal Kingdom Lodge. I love it because it is so unique, it is so different. You can, upgrade to that Savannah room and watch the animals. It has some of the best dining in all of Walt Disney World property. It has its own just unique taste and spirit and atmosphere, and I just really love Animal Kingdom Lodge a whole lot. I think if I had to choose a runner-up, it would probably be a contemporary just because that's my personal decoration taste, but you know, that's how it goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this. Let me know. And I hope you guys found this really helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching one of our another amazing videos. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss any of our amazing new videos. We are Magicland Vacations Disney and Universal Travel Planning experts. And make sure if you haven't already, check out our website, magiclandvacations.com. There you can schedule a consultation with one of our amazing experts. And guess what? We do way more than just Disney and Universal Vacations, so definitely want to check us out there. Also, make sure you go to our private Facebook group, Travel Genie Fan Club, where we do giveaways and trivia contests every single month. And of course, I have two other amazing videos for you to watch. One right over here and one right over there. One right there and one right there. I think I would start with that one, or maybe that one, or maybe that one.